Howdy folks, my name is RagingRaptor and I welcome you to a new World of Tanks preview video from the SuperTest. And today, every British fan will be delighted to see it's the Gsor 1008. A tank I personally never heard of, and it's a new British tank. And wow, that thing is as British as it gets. It looks just weird. It looks a little bit like a Manticore turret slapped on a T69. That's how I personally feel about this vehicle. But you do know the story of the ugly duckling and the beautiful swan it becomes. Because if you have a look at the stats, at least how they are right now, this is a SuperTest, so it can still change, like they did with the T77. Jesus, those stats are very, 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 very capable. Let's jump in and compare it to its base stats. The clip potential is 1280 in 4.5 seconds. It has a DPM of 2144, pretty fast AP rounds and pretty fast APCR rounds. They're not as fast as the CS52 Lys's APCR rounds, but they're fairly fast. Let's compare that to the Lorraine 40T, the AMX AC48 and the ISU 152K, because the ISU was the latest premium TD, the AMX is the only other autoloader TD, at least on tier 8. I know, Waffenträger, you want that. And last, Lorraine 40T, because it's also fairly mobile, as well as has a 4-round autoloader. Now, you can see that only the ISU is the one with better DPM, and the other, but it's not that far off, let's be honest. The Gsor has 2133, which is a very, very good value. And especially if you compare it to the AMX, you have 300 more DPG, or damage per minute, excuse me, not damage per game. And even the Lorraine, look at that. 400, 500 more damage per minute basically than the Lorraine 40T. If you know what you're doing and if you're able to get or use your autoloader to its fullest potential. 42 seconds reload time, that's 2 seconds faster than the AMX and 4 seconds faster than the Lorraine. 4 rounds, 1.5 seconds into clip. You can see this one has 1200, this one has 1200, this one takes 7.5 seconds, this one takes 5.4 seconds, where meanwhile our bad boy needs 4.5 seconds for 80 damage more. That is very, very, very strong. Now, accuracy-wise, it is also a shining star on the British tank lineup sky. 2.7 seconds, 2.7 seconds, 3.5, 1.8, ladies and gents. That's a very, 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 very good value. 1.8 seconds aim time is insanely fast. Yes, it is important to have that with 1.5 seconds interclip, but compare it to something like Lorraine or the AMX, it's so much better, like it's insanely much better. It is probably something the TVP T5051 would like to have it on tier 10, to be honest. And the accuracy is 0.3. 0.3 compared to 0.38, 0.37 and 0.43. Like, it's so good. And now, the accuracy during hull traverse and turret traverse, well, they are a mixed bag. The hull traverse is insanely bad. It is almost as bad as what the stage 2 has. It has 0.32, while meanwhile the Gsor has 0.30. The turret, however, is much more accurate, 0.08. I think this is on the level what the CS52 Lys has. I'm not sure if it has 0.1 or it has 0.18 as well. It's a very, very good value nevertheless. Compared to the Lorraine or the AMX or even the ISU, you can see the sway on the ISU is double as bad as what the Gsor has. So that is a very, very, very good value. And again, it looks like the Gsor does have a fully rotating turret. Plus 11 degrees of gun depression. You can see that is more than double what the ISU has. That's almost double what the AMX has, and the Lorraine has 8 degrees. The biggest issue is, however, because it's an oscillating turret, it doesn't have very good gun elevation. But, you know, 11 degrees of gun depression, you can work with that much better than with 10 degrees of gun elevation. So yeah, that's obviously a big drawback. 28 degrees per second turret traverse, which is fairly okay, I'd say, if you compare it to something like here. You can see the Lorraine has a little bit faster, the AMX is slower, and the ISU is even slower. I know those two TDs don't have a turret, but it's also the the gun speed. That's the same thing. The turret traverse is like the speed, how quickly the gun can aim to left to the right, as far as I know. The hull traverse with 28 degrees isn't that bad either. It's actually comparable to what the AMX AC48 has and is better than what the ISU has. Top speed 60 kph. Now that's something I'm talking about. Reverse speed 17 kph. Now that's something very good, especially compared again to the AMX and the ISU. But it's not as good as what the Lorraine has, because the power to weight ratio is not that good. 14.7, it's better than what the ISU has, which is great, but it's worse than what the AMX and the Lorraine have. So you have to keep that in mind. You will probably be able to reach around 50, maybe 55 kph with this tank. And I'd say that's fine, that's totally fine. You can work with that, totally. The survivability is also a little bit of a mixed bag, because it has insane amount of hit points, 1400, which is basically makes it a medium tank with that HP. You can see it's more than what the Lorraine has, and it's 400 more what the AMX has, and 200 more what the ISU has. And the armor isn't that bad either. You have 98 armor on the front, 50 on the side. Yeah, it's okay. But the turret has 152 in the front and 50 on the side. Sure, you're not going to bounce as much as the AMX does if they hit your upper front plate, but it's definitely not something which is just a free pen. So, I forgot one thing. View range 370, sweet. That is very, very good. You can work with that. You can even work with that with optics, but because this tank has a turret, and this is why I wanted to go to the next slides, you can see it has a turret. I would highly suggest to use a binos, because with this tank you want to get into positions fairly quickly, and you want to use a good top speed but maybe a little bit bad power to weight ratio to get into a good position, and then you just want to stay there. Like I'm right now imagining Prokhorovka, middle position. You want to yeet into that position, yeet into that bush, to shoot under the hill, shoot into people which are crossing, and then just stay there and use your binos, because again, 0.08 accuracy during turret traverse, where meanwhile your hull traverse 0.3. So as soon as you move your hull, whoosh, it goes insanely big. But you can see it is a fully rotating turret. You see now why exactly this tank has poor gun elevation, because the back of the turret will just smash into the engine deck. It looks very, very odd. I guess there are fans of those looks, but I don't really like the look. It's just weird. It's just so weird. But I guess form follows function and not around. So, once again, 1280 clip on tier 8 in the same amount of time as the TVP on tier 10. This clip potential is almost enough to clip several, or to clip some tier 8 medium tanks, like full HP. Sure, the Projector has 1400 hit points, but you are able to actually one clip the tanks like the CS53. Yeah, the mobility is fine. 11 degrees of gun depression, very, very usable, and it even has a lot of hit points. I totally see that there will be some nerfs coming for this tank, because the pen is too high, the premium pen is very good, aim time is too fast, the DPM is too good for an autoloader. So I do think that this tank will get castrated. I don't know if this will be a premium or not, and I have one sneaking suspicion, or two actually. Maybe this tank with the Gsor da compartimento 45 will be a third campaign, like with the 279, like with the 260. Because usually there we have very odd vehicle like the Chimera, for example. Like the 279, for example. Like the Excalibur. They're all very, very weird vehicles. So it would really fit in. Maybe it's a premium, who knows. Wargaming loves their premiums. Or it might be part of a new tree. Because there is potential for a tier 10 autoloader for the Brits. And it's the FV4005 Stage 1. It's a Stage 2 we all love, without a cabin, but with an autoloader. I don't know how big this autoloader is. I really hope it's not coming to the game, because do we need another unfair machine, which is basically can free-shot everything with AP, or even with hash? Who knows? Who knows? It's pure guesstimation. Anyway, do you have any feedback for me which I can improve on? Let me know in the comment section below. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you want to always be up to date with your latest World of Tanks news. As always, thank you so much for watching. Have fun with the Gamescom celebrations. Cheers, good luck on the battlefield, and I see you around. Cheers guys, thank you so much.